nice spread from the kills is something you want to see. You don't want to see those players having to have that heroic impact.
Oh, for sure. Let's see. We are headed back to the battlefield. This time around, we're headed to Miramon. Once again, there's a bit of a entanglement, I should say, over towards El Pozo. It's trying to make sense of it, because when you're jumping out as Poland, you gotta see that there's 1 billion parachutes that ain't with you, and also down towards Leon, it seems like teams are tangling up a little bit. Back when we first started doing these, it was very quickly that teams just went, you know what, okay, they go east, let's go west, or they go north, let's go south. Both these two games have been a little more on top of one another. Filling to manage to get back on his feet. LB player. Let's see now. Hungary trying to respond. There's a Winchester in hands of one of the Polish players, but seems like it's not going to be put to use, at least not for now. And also, there's a knocked player, and no one, at least for right now, is committing to try and get the rest done. He has a chance to run over, but at the same time, there's a lot of Hungarian players, and there he falls. First player down is going to be Polish.
And this gunfight is really important to set the tone of the game. If the Polish players can collapse and get rid of that Hungarian contingent in the circle, they can get that early player advantage and just sort of close out the game by trading their way to the victory. But if Hungary can get a little bit of a player advantage, they offset the fact that they don't have the circle. And they find a way where eventually they can just overwhelm the Polish defenses and break their way in and maybe win map 2 as well.
Just be a chance. Done. Looked around the corner. Nice double peek coming in. But as I say that, one does get knocked. And this is something you'll see. I mean, if you have players that are normally in a team together on your squad, you probably see that a lot when we go over to watching the likes of Russia. I know Norway have a lot of players that play on the same team, so Denmark to some extent as well. They'll more often they'll also be the ones that run around together in these tournaments. So you have 2 teams of 4 running around together where they have already kind of worked out the communication and whatnot in between them. So you know that you can, as a general, rely on them having good communication in between.
Yeah, and trading is the name of the game in this. If you can get those 1-for-1 trades, as long as you have that earlier player advantage, just purely mathematically, you're going to win the lineup. They can get him down. A bit of a gauntlet run. That's a treat. I don't think he's long for the world.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But having said that, this is exactly what Hungary needs to try and kind of push some of these players out to make a little bit of a footing for themselves. But looking at the map, you can see there's one chunk in the very middle of the circle, and then you have the players south of it. The Hungarian players need to push them away somehow in order to have their Hungarian teammates come up to.
The Polish team have that encirclement. They have the siege sort of in place, but the relief force from the south is coming up. And Hungary now has a 4-player man advantage. And we spoke about how important those small man advantages are now. If Hungary can keep that for the rest of the game, it's going to be so difficult for Poland to come back. But that is a really nice kill from Ghost Star to try and limit the impact of that man advantage.
Yeah, you pull those things off. Great player, as mentioned earlier. They are trying to cut them off. Let's see if it's going to pay out. Or if it won't, they might be in for more than they can chew. And you can see they're just sending it. I mean, the Hungarian players that were down towards the south, they literally said 3, 2, 1, full speed forward. Now they're making the whip there. But this circle has gone far east, and I think this is going to be a first come, first serve. And if you're Hungary right now, you might just want to keep driving.
Yeah, if we were ever talking about a circle to reset the advantages that the circle was being given, that's a perfect one for it. Both teams now on the edge of the map. Both teams with no control over the new circled area. So they need to find their way in. But I think a lot of the Hungarian players now have lost their vehicles, whereas Poland seems to have a few more. I mean, for me, if you get both, obviously you're going to be in a much better position. But I like the fact that Hungary has sort of taken that little fort down on the crossroads, because that hard cover means that when they do get knocked, they can't really get flushed unless they make a big mistake. The Polish players, though, do have this high ground, do have this hill. Should be able to get that res as well, I think. If they can stay up with a lot of players on this hillside, then they should be in a good place to lay into the Hungarian team when that circle does go away.
Exactly. Remember, there's still a lot of Hungarian and Polish players north of what we're seeing right now as well. So it's also how they manage to impact it. Hungary, as you talked about before, if you can take both high ground control and get some compounds too, you're in it for good. And that's exactly what Hungary is trying to do. Half the team is down in the valley, and the others trying to keep them safe from above. But it's kind of gone the same way for Poland. You can see Alchemy here trying to wrap around. He is alone, which is a little dangerous in my book, but he might be able to make something of it.
Usually, if you're a solo and you're in a traditional like squads or duos game, you can come in, do a little bit of impact on a team, maybe get 1 or 2 kills, and then run away. But he's going to run around a corner into 10 people.
That's an interesting shift. What do you do here, Hungary? You got to send it. I mean, you got to full speed send it somewhere. I'm just not sure how or where you go.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cases where you just have to go for a crash, right? You have to crash something as a big group and just pray that you can out-trade your way into that compound or out-trade your way into those ditches. Because realistically, Poland has a lot of control of this area now. And the remaining group, they can actually use that big ridge for cover. But talking of cover, Black is on his own here, stuck in a little bit of hardcore. He gets the initial knock, but he gets traded instantly by Creator. And I don't think that flash will come in on Triers either.
Nope, there are enough opponents that they could lock him down, even if those manage to get 1 knock. So, once again, Hungary gets a foothold in the circle. Now it's up to Poland to hold them off. This is the second time in my book that they've kind of let Hungary in. They could have just swamped downhill and taken control of the compound, but allowed them to drive forward. It has taken away what was high ground position before, though, for Hungary. Let's see if they can fight uphill here.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Poland have favoured that high ground over the total control of the area. But it looks like it's favouring Hungary overall because they've now got control of nearly half the map. And they have the player advantage. And they're pushing towards this group of the Polish players that are now locked in that small compound. So it's looking good for Hungary. Poland needs to pull out something magical to bring this back.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw this last circle shift, I don't think there was a single Hungarian player inside it. So a little surprising to me they're saying, so did we just get 4 drops in a row?
I've just looked at the map.
Is that 4 crates landing next to each other? It's flare guns. Okay, so it's all Polish weaponry coming out here. Will it be enough for them to turn it around? Though I'm not quite sure. We can see Hungary again. They are all playing down the hill, but they are also the ones that are getting all the kills right now.
Yeah, realistically, that number is more like 27 to 20, 27 to 19 at the minute, as there are quite a few Polish players knocked, and it should be 2 more down. There's the first. There's the second from Magnum. And there's no one there to get them back up, so that should be 2 kills the way of Hungary.
Yep, nice double spray coming in. Nate won't be doing damage, but there's no one near that shack. And I mean, Hungary is just 1 knock at the time, making their way up this hill. As I say, that Cappy does manage to find 1. Magnum will fall. But they need to keep pushing, and well, it's working right now, so might as well just keep at it.
But Poland's having a bit of a resurgence here in the kill feed. We see a lot of Polish flags right now. They're getting those knocks as the Hungarian players try to flood forward. But a lot of the reses are coming in. Poland's not able to flush the kills out.
Gotta be able to turn it around if you want to get up this hill when you're Hungary. But as you were saying, I mean, I think Poland committed quite a few players to hold the flank here. And all of a sudden, it's kind of been spun around. We even in numbers, but of course the knocks aren't counted. So it can fool you to some extent, but it seems to be rather even now regardless.
Yeah, this kill team led by Ghost Stars set up a really great attack here on the Hungarian push. They've got a lot of players down now. I think 3 or 4 more and knocked and realistically out of the game. So you're looking at this and maybe Poland have found a way back into the game.
Yeah, it is very even. This fight could be the deciding factor in who ends up winning it overall. Ghost Star continues to peek over the top, continues to find knocks, doesn't want to go for any flushes before he knows for a fact that he's safe in shooting. And I like that. Don't overcommit to peeking, just get flushed. Some players might be going down in a moment anyway. Now that he knows, and so say that, he thought there were no more opponents, then he tried to go for the flushes, but wasn't going to happen. And you can see Foda here and Power Dog, they're just the committed medics on this team, running around resting everyone.
Yeah, you have that players at long range that are providing the covering fire that's enabling Hungary to get their firepower back up. And now the Polish players are outside the blue. And there's the free kill. Ghost Star got like 4 or 5 knocks, but wasn't able to flush any of them because of the Hungarian protection. And now they're falling apart.
I like the play. Hungary, they had dedicated medics, and I think it was 5 or 6 players that Foda and Power Dog managed to get back up on their feet. This ain't gonna happen, Foda. You gotta just keep going. So impressive play to potentially actually win the game off of that, because as you can see, the numbers are kind of sort of going in favor of Hungary as more and more of the Polish knocked players are starting to get flushed. I think there's only 1 player knocked for Hungary right now. Yep, that's Box Bop. He went down just now. Foda in the car. Will he be able to accelerate up that hill? Just exactly.
And this is where you need to see the Hungarian players just start grouping up, outplays those death stacks, and just wipe out the little pockets of Polish resistance. Because realistically, as long as they're trading 1 for 1, they're just going to win the game. But if they start spreading out, they start taking those individual gunfights, that will provide a way for Poland to find a way back in and win map 2.
Exactly. Paulus trying to hold once again. I mean, the circles are continuing to go in the favor of Poland, but they haven't really been too good at receiving them. Paulus shoots over. It's going to be Alchemix to get the knock, though, trying to tie things up in what on paper should again be a Polish win, but they are.
They've got a lot of trades, particularly with Ghost Star, laying into the Hungarian team, and that's really saved them from what was initially looking like a Hungary win.
So now Mixu looking over the top. What can you do in a situation where if you peek over, 1 billion people shoot at you? I think given that they have the circle control, you're just going to wait and see that next circle hopefully go east.
Yeah, Hungary needs some Polish players to get a bit aggressive, get a bit of an ego to find a way back through this, because they need to find some kills. But that little rotation into the middle of the map, if they can survive long enough in those smokes, then maybe they could do something with it. But I'm not liking the look of this.
That's suboptimal, I guess we can say, without offending anyone. I think this might be a 1-1 by the looks of it, but it's not over till the fat lady sings, as some say. It's Poland still has the positions that they need. I mean, if you're looking at percentages, they're sitting at something like 70% of the circle right now. So I would call this a Polish win, but we never know. There still is an open hill to push down should it go towards the south.
Yeah, Poland have been giving up a lot of map control in the previous circles. I'm curious whether they might do it again, but it's looking like that kill feed is going in the way of them. Hungary is starting to fall apart now. There's this little expeditionary force that got to the middle of the map, just has no cover now. But some of the knocks are coming in Hungary's favor. They have got those people knocked off.
It is. Looking at the numbers, it's what is it? It's got to be 6 versus 8 if we try to count up knocked players as well. I only see 1 right now, and I think the rest is coming in too. So 7 versus 8. In 10 seconds, we'll see the next circle. And if it goes east, you'd have to consider this a Polish win. But if it doesn't, who knows?
I think if Hungary can find a way to get rid of those 3 players on the west, then suddenly it becomes a bit of a 50-50, right?
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, they cannot push up this hill without being shot at from the other side. So in that way, they have a really nice kind of pincer going on, the Polish players. But if they can get just 1 or 2 knocks, they are only 3 over there. So if they force 1 to go for the rest, then that might help out. But make sure, as you can see, they're never really over peeking anything. Just peek, get back down behind the rock. Peek, get back down behind the rock, because they know how important their position is.
Yeah, and Hungary's scout, the only Hungarian player that was in the circle, got taken down from the hill finally as well. Yeah. He ran out of smoke. So I think this is all she wrote for Hungary in map 2, unless they can pull off something heroic.
You would have to think so. They need to start landing something right now, because nice shooting. Because if they don't, I mean, not only are they getting shot at, but the circle is also going to start moving in actually right now. So phase 7, tons of damage coming in, even though they're only down by 3. It's looking grim for the Hungarian team, and as we were saying, I am very convinced this is about to go into a 1-1.
He's got a 6x M249 just to lay it into them. They've got 2 players knocked. Make that 3. 1 player left for Hungary now. And I don't see a way he can pull this one off.
Nah, ain't gonna happen. He's gonna go down. Hungary eliminated. To be fair, they put up a great fight. Poland looked like they didn't want to win it at most times because they were so slow on reacting to what happened around them. But they managed to bring it home regardless. Circles kept